guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How have you been? It's good to connect with you again. Have you seen my last video? If you haven't, please check my YouTube channel and watch it. I did a video on mistakes to avoid in 2022. If you're new on this channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button below, and I ensure that you please share this video with your friends. I trust it will be really helpful. Today I'll be talking about red flags in relationships. Red flags in relationships. Someone once said that a lot of times love makes us see red as pink. Red is red, my darling. Red is red. So what are red flags? Red flags are simply warning signals or warning signs of a future impending danger. They are warning signs of a future impending danger in marriage, possibly. A lot of divorces and separations are happening today, and the truth is, if we sit down to ask some of these couples what really went wrong, the problem didn't just start when they got married. The problems had started in the relationship and they were just ignored. So it's important that as singles, we ensure that we do not ignore red flags in your relationship. Don't manage, don't try to panel beat it, don't try to give excuses for why it's happening. Don't try to be the optimistic person, oh, it will change. Red flags are red, and red shows danger. Okay, so what are the red flags in relationships? The first red flag I'd like to mention is different spiritual inclinations. Different spiritual inclinations. So the Bible says in 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14, do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. What has light got to do with darkness? A lot of people are in relationships, a lot of believers are in relationships with unbelievers, and the question is, what exactly do you expect? How do you intend to do it? It's like being in a relationship with a completely opposite person. That's completely wrong. It's important that we don't ignore the red flag of different spiritual inclinations. Now, even when you're in a relationship with a fellow Christian, the question is, does that person believe the basic of Christianity, like salvation? Do you believe the same things? Because when you do not resonate on the same spiritual frequency, it's not a good sign. It's a very big red flag. You're going to literally be together for life, and you would have to teach your children. So the question is, what are you going to be teaching your children if you don't believe the same thing? So the first red flag is different spiritual inclination. Close to this red flag is incompatibility in values. Incompatibility in values. The Bible says in Amos 3 verse 3 that can two work together except they be agreed? How can two people who don't agree work together? It's not gonna be possible. So in our relationships, we should ensure that we share similar values, especially values that are very strong. Example, sexual purity. If you're in a relationship with someone that talks down on your sexual purity and does not believe that you should be sexually pure, then you are in the wrong relationship. That's a red flag. That's a very big red flag. You should be in a relationship with someone that would even support and strengthen that value. So in case you're in a relationship with someone that there is an incompatibility in values, then you need to check that out. That's a red flag. I've heard a lot of stories of ladies and men who were abused by their partners, even some of them unto death. And the truth is, this abuse did not start in a day. So one red flag you should never ignore in your relationship or in a relationship is an angry and abusive partner. The Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 24, don't make friends with an angry man. A man who lashes on you when he's angry is not good for you. A woman who lashes on you when she's angry is not good for you. Yes, unfortunately, ladies are also involved in abuse. So Do not ignore the red flag of an angry or abusive partner. Now, abuse can come as physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. Whatever form of abuse it is, it's important that you do not ignore that. A lot of people are still in relationships that their partners are abusive to them because they believe that the partner will change, and the partner keeps apologizing. It's important to note that relationships are for two whole people. If someone has a character flaw that he or she is yet to deal with, what that person needs is therapy and self-development and strength and help from God, not a relationship. A relationship is not a place where two people or two unwhole people come together. Two whole people should be in a relationship. So do not try to give excuse for an abusive partner. Abuse is a red flag in a relationship. Another red flag is infidelity. Infidelity. It's rather unfortunate that a lot of ladies have termed this normal. I work in the hospital, and I was in the postnatal clinic one of those times, and postnatal clinic is a clinic where we see ladies that have had given birth 6 weeks prior to that time. And I jokingly asked the lady, so when next are you coming back for antenatal? And she said, doctor, you don't like me at all. She invariably was trying to say that she had no plans for it. So I asked her, fine, so what is your plan for contraception? She said, she does the natural method. And I'm like, okay, does that really work for you? Why don't you do something? Why don't you get another method that would help you so that you don't starve your husband of sex? And then she said something like, doctor, we passed that level, we are now mature. If you want to get it outside, that is not a problem. You know, a lot of ladies have termed infidelity as being normal. Infidelity is not normal. Infidelity is not normal. If you find a cheating partner in a relationship, chances are that partner will be a cheating spouse in marriage. Don't give an excuse for infidelity. The problem is not you. You know, many times a partner or spouse tends to make the other person feel bad, and then you feel like the person is going outside or being a cheating partner because you're not good enough, and that is not true. Do not give an excuse for infidelity in relationship. If you find a partner or if you have a partner who is not faithful to you, then please note that is a red flag, and you should not be there in that relationship. One more red flag I'd like to mention is struggling with an addiction. Struggling with an addiction. Like I mentioned earlier, relationships are supposed to be for two whole people. Two whole people, not people that have a problem or a character flaw or something that they should be handling by themselves, but two whole people that are mentally sound and people that are whole enough to do relationship. So it's important that we do not ignore the red flag of struggling with an addiction. The addiction could be pornography, it could be masturbation, it could be alcohol, it could be anything. If you have someone that is struggling with an addiction, you cannot be the person's therapist because you're already emotionally involved with this person. Allow the person seek help and truly come off the addiction if you ever want to think of a relationship with such a person. But struggling with an addiction is a red flag you should not ignore. So when you find red flags, what do we do about it? The first thing is acknowledge the red flag. Don't ignore it. Acknowledge that there is a red flag. The next thing to do is to try to communicate with your partner. Tell the person, okay, this is it. I've noticed this red flag and it's not good enough. Okay? Communicate. Seek counsel. But the hallmark is, most times when it comes to red flags, you should leave the relationship. You should run for your life, especially when it causes a threat to your life. Hope you've learned something from today's video. If you have, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until I come your way again next time, keep fulfilling purpose, keep loving Jesus, and do not ignore red flags in relationship. Have a lovely time. Bye bye.